In the deadlocked Brexit battle, Parliament is Theresa May's biggest opponent. Her deal was overwhelmingly rejected by both Remain and Leave MPs.
The noes to the left, 432.
And frustration in the UK is building.
Unfortunately, I think we're looking a bit ludicrous right now as a nation because we don't know how to sort ourselves out of this problem.
I think the politicians have caused the confusion because most of the politicians in that building want to remain.
The two parties are fighting instead of joining together. Individuals are putting their own needs first, and they are not thinking about what the country wanted.
But for Brexit to happen, May must get a deal approved by bitterly divided lawmakers. Now she's hoping her so-called Plan B will have more success. So will she try to appease the hard Brexiteers within her own party and the DUP, which props up her government? Perhaps by sticking with her deal, but addressing their main complaint. The Irish backstop, designed to avoid a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Or will she try and win over Remainers and go for a softer Brexit? That could mean backing down on some of her so-called red lines, such as staying in the customs union. But it's not easy to convince MPs who'd rather take matters into their own hands. And an opposition party who wants Theresa May to rule out exiting without a deal.
The result of the referendum, Parliament has not got the right to hijack the Brexit process, because Parliament said to the people of this country, we make a contract with you, you will make the decision and we will honour it.
But unless Theresa May comes up with a plan that can get through Parliament, nothing can be ruled out, including postponing the March 29 Brexit deadline or even another referendum.
Germany's Foreign Minister Heiko Maas also stressed the importance of the Irish border issue.
It's important that the decision doesn't lead to a hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, because as we saw on the weekend, that could put people on edge. Europe is a peace project, and it can't take steps that would reignite previously resolved conflicts. It's a very sensitive issue, and therefore I can't envision that there will be major changes to it during the talks.
For the very latest now, I'm joined from London by DW's Barbara Weisel. Barbara, we are hearing Theresa May's Plan B hinges on getting more concessions from Brussels on that backstop. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, her Plan B pretty much seems to be her Plan A, and many people here in London are quietly desperate about that fact, because it seems to come from the little self-help book for politicians. If you fail, try again, try harder, and then maybe fail harder in the end. Because what she's going to do next week is then take this sort of revised original deal back to her parliament and say, if I could possibly gain more concessions from Brussels, would you then be willing to vote for it? It's not quite conceivable how that is going to work out. However, Theresa May is adamant. She has tried, or she at least has made the attempt formally to have cross-party talks last week to forge a different sort of consensus. She didn't budge on her red lines. Now we are exactly where we were a couple of weeks ago, and she's just going to try again to sell her deal.
Meanwhile, Britain's Trade Secretary Liam Fox claims Remain parliamentarians are trying to hijack Brexit. What does he mean by that?
Oh, that's quite clear what he means. He means the power struggle that is taking place behind us here in Westminster, because parliamentarians across the dividing political lines are trying to wrestle control from the government. The cabinet is split at least 4 ways about how to proceed and what kind of Brexit ministers would want, and Theresa May is just stubborn and goes on doggedly. She does what she does best. She just carries on. Now a solution needs to be found. So parliamentarians are trying to come up with their own amendments, be able to make up their own legislative proposals and then vote on them in order to force the government into some sort of exit strategy, be that maybe a second referendum, be to take take a no deal off the table, a much softer Brexit. Everything is still in the game here, and Parliament really tries to assert itself because many people there think this is a moment of national crisis.
And Barbara, what about outside Parliament? How divided are people you're talking to there? Is there any consensus on what should happen next?
People are deeply divided, and it seems somehow that the country, after almost 2 years of this debate, is just sort of split right among the middle. The latest polls last week showed that there was maybe, we always have to be careful with polls, maybe now a majority of 56% of Britons to remain in the European Union versus 44 to leave. But that, of course, is not quite certain. But if you talk to people here, they are so fed up with the bickering that goes on amongst their politicians in government and also in Parliament, and they somehow really want this over with, one way or the other. It seems that many people would now just be grateful for any kind of solution that just stops this and lets British politics return to what really people really care about, which is the health system, the situation in schools and so on, and so housing, all the normal things that voters usually really have on the top of the agenda. It's certainly not Brexit.
Barbara Basil in the heart of London, thank you very much.